Hello, everyone. My name is Ben, and I'm joined here with my collaborator, Shanley. We will go over our paper titled Separate Online Networks During Life Transitions, Support, Identity, and Challenge in Social Media and Online Communities.
So in this paper, we explored a few different aspects about networks of no ties and separate online networks. First, we explored the challenges that people face in their online networks of known ties and how those challenges can influence people to participate in separate networks. We also investigate how social support and relationships take place and evolve in these separate networks. And we look into how identity and identity change relate to people's experiences in online separate networks.
This brings us to our key contributions. From conducting 28 semi-structured interviews with participants who experienced a range of major life events and transitions within the past 2 years, we first conceptualized the networks of known ties and the separate networks in the context of life transitions. Specifically, we define networks of known ties as both strong and weak ties that people typically have pre-existing ties with and draw in during their everyday use of social media, while separate networks are different from and exist apart from network of known ties. We also focus on analyze the use of online separate networks during life transitions and identity change. Our work extends prior work that usually focuses on a single life transition, so we provide additional insights by examining life transitions holistically.
Additionally, we summarize people's social media-related challenges in both networks of known ties and separate networks, and we offer an empirical description of why and how people use separate networks across multiple types of life transitions. And last but not least, we discuss the importance of separate networks in facilitating people's life transitions, and we provide design recommendations to promote connections with separate networks to improve people's online experiences across a wide range of life transitions.
In the results, we first identify the different challenges people may face from networks of known ties. Networks of known ties are described to include both weak and strong ties that people typically have pre-existing ties with and therefore draw in during their everyday use of social media. The challenges people mention experiencing in networks of known ties include superficial online support, negative life impacts, and the positive online self-presentation. For negative life impacts, for instance, participant 24, a father who came out as gay, made the decision not to share about his coming out experience with networks of known ties on Facebook, as he was concerned with the potential for his son to be negatively affected. To avoid personal risks, he relied on separate networks such as closed groups on Twitter during his life transition.
So the challenges Ben mentioned influence some people to then participate in online separate networks, which we define as networks that are different from and exist apart from one's primary network of known ties. And in separate networks, people experience receiving network support, receiving informational support, lurking in these spaces, and making virtual friends. For lurkers and providing or receiving help, we found that there are different types of lurkers, which we call waiting contributors. So our work contributes to a deeper understanding of lurkers as we divide them into two types according to their reasons. So one, contributors may be limited by differences in individual experiences, or two, contributors who need time to grow. So participant 8, for example, said that they like to stick around in case they can help others in their online community or in case they might need support later on. So they decide to lurk. We also want to highlight the concept of virtual friends, where we found it to be permeable between different networks. So virtual friends are people who experience highly similar life transitions, which motivate people to then create virtual friendships. And these friendships can become part of networks of known ties later on. So participant 26, for instance, joined an online community for people with addiction where she had met a girl with identical experiences like her, and she describes how people in her life, such as her family, didn't have the same experiences. So it was nice to talk to someone who they met online and had very similar experiences.
As people encounter major life transitions, their identity can be impacted significantly. To facilitate these experiences, individuals often present their identities differently across different online social networks. Our work also investigates how participants described their experiences in interacting with separate networks based on their faceted identities or parts of their identities. For instance, we found that shared identity can bring comfort, and identity or identity change experiences can influence participation in separate networks. Participant 15, a graduate student who identified as a graduate student, woman of color, crime victim, which are all salient parts of her identity, and she joined online support groups fitted to these specific identities for social support. As Shanley mentioned, online separate networks, which can include waiting contributors and virtual friends, provide valuable support, but they could also introduce emergent challenges such as access to specific separate networks and negative interactions with others within the separate network. To limit those emergent challenges, we discuss ways that separate networks across social media can be designed to better support people during life transitions. We include ways to make online communities more easily visible to social media users, features that can be integrated into these communities, such as indicating one's transition stage and promoting contribution, and the potential of templates for online community members to familiarize themselves with the online environment.
So the key takeaways of our paper is, one, we conceptualize ways of thinking about networks of known ties and separate networks, which reaffirms that they can be applied to multiple life events rather than just one singular one. Then we identified challenges that people face in both types of online networks and found that separate networks mitigate some challenges present in networks of known ties that sometimes hinder self-disclosure. And lastly, we provide novel insights into how separate networks can be better designed through enhancing search function, integrating related features, and providing context-sensitive templates to facilitate life transitions. Thank you.